Today is a day when the Magna Carta was signed back in 1215. Did you know that? Well, that's what I'm going to be talking about today, the Magna Carta and its relevance in today's world. So my name is Mandy Cran and welcome to my moment of reflection for the week. I've been doing this about 5 years now. My aim really to help you take a moment out of your busy days and just reflect on something that you might not otherwise have thought about and hopefully give you a slightly different perspective on life. If you like it, please like and share, and especially if there's somebody who you think this would really help, then please do share it with them. That would be fabulous. Thank you. So, an extract from the Magna Carta: to no one will we sell, as in sell out, to no one deny or delay right or justice. So the Magna Carta was signed in 1215 by King John, and basically he'd fallen out with his barons. His barons felt he had far too much power, and it almost ended up in civil war. So the Magna Carta was almost like a peace treaty, and in there the barons basically laid down all the things that they wanted from the king and all the things the king couldn't have. And it was called the Great Charter, or the Magna Carta in Latin. Now, it had 63 clauses, and of course it wasn't as simple as that. You know, over the years things have been changed and people have fallen out of the various clauses. But there are 3 clauses which remain to this day in English statute law. And one of them is that it defends the rights and liberties of the English Church. The next one is it defends the rights of London and other cities. So when you see the cities have their own sort of quirky festivals or laws or things like that, that goes down to the Magna Carta. And the last one, which is most important, probably the one that you know most of all, is it gives everybody the right to a free and fair trial and to justice. And one of the key components of the Magna Carta it laid down was that not even the king was above the law. And of course that went on to have ramifications later on in the English Civil War and so on. So it was quite a far-reaching document, and so way ahead of its time. And there's been nothing else like it actually in the world. And what's really interesting is that other charters have taken a lot of the concepts from the Magna Carta written in 1215. So the American Bill of Rights, which was in 1781, that'd be better, was actually based a lot on the Magna Carta. And the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948 was also taken mainly from the Magna Carta. So we as an English people need to be really, really proud of the fact that an awful lot of human rights around the world has been based on something that our country did back in the 13th century. Because 800 years ago, life was very, very different, and things have moved on an awful lot from then. So you sort of say, well, is any of that relevant today? Well, the whole fact about right and justice and being right to a fair trial, I think is incredibly important today. And you would think in a modern democracy that by now we'd have got it sorted and it'd all be fair, but actually it seems to be going the other way in many ways. And there seems to be so much misery out there. And just to give you a couple of examples of some of the things that go on, the whole email hacking and accessing bank account details and people stealing money off you and sending you false bills by email, and the phishing that goes on, and the fake phone calls telling you they're BT and so on and so forth. And the worst one that I've heard, I think, at all, is people claiming they're in the Grenfell Tower just so they can get compensation when in fact they weren't. And that, I think, has got to be the worst one I've heard. So we have all this stuff going on. There's an awful lot of physical misery, emotional misery and financial misery. And the sad thing is, in this day and age, that most people actually just stand back and watch. They're scared to get involved. And I actually think we need to have the moral courage to stand up and say that's not right and we need to do something about it. Because if we don't, then nobody's going to have that right to justice. So the people who are being scammed or whatever are never going to get that right to justice. So I think it's really, really important that we stand up and do what's right. Now, it's not easy, I know, absolutely. But I want you to encourage to do that, even if it's only doing things like reporting a fake email when you see it. For example, there's one going around at the moment on Messenger about you can get lots of money from the Bill Gates Foundation. Don't know if you've seen that one. I had one from a friend of mine got hacked recently, and I got one of those. And I had a very interesting conversation. Whoever was sending it basically said in the end, which school did you go to? And of course, he couldn't reply. And it was an old school friend. And I actually emailed the Bill Gates Foundation and said, I think this is a scam, just so you know. And I got an email back saying, yep, we know all about it. We're trying to monitor it and we're trying to get on top of it. But they're very grateful for the fact I'd done so. So we need to do this. We need to do what's right, not what's easy. So my question for you this week is, when was the last time that you did something that was right and not easy, and you had the moral courage to stand up and do something that actually was not easy to do at all? And I know it's hard, but I think we need to do it, because 800 years worth of human rights is something we need to be really proud of. We need to keep that going, and we're not always perfect at it. So that's my thought for this week. Do join me next week live on Facebook at 10 o'clock, and I'm going to be talking about coffee. So have a great week.